It's one thing to raise a family, blended or otherwise, in the privacy of your own home. It's quite another, I would think, to raise a family while you have them on television.
Well, for me, this whole thing is a ministry. As I'm Reverend Run, I was telling everybody this is a ministry. This is a way to touch people in America and all over the world through MTV, through this gift of television. So when I'm out there, I don't per se have a church that I preach at. My pulpit ended up being MTV at 10 o'clock on whatever it was, Wednesday nights. So when I'm on the television and I'm doing the words of wisdom in the tub at the end, or I'm talking to my son in his room about something, I'm letting you into my home to see how I would handle a situation with Russie if he broke his Game Boy, or with Diggy if he wasn't doing well in school, or with my wife if there's something that's going through us. So the cameras would be in the bedroom, and I know I'm going in there to handle something that we're going through, and you would just be on the end of what's going on in my house and how I handle it. Our show is the thing that people are not remembering is so much the house, the ball court, the Phantom, the Rolls Royce. You're looking at that, but that doesn't mean anything to you because you see that with the Cash Money clique. You see that with all the rappers. We see that. That's on television all day if you turn to rap videos. That's not what was shocking. What was shocking is the way I took time with my wife, time with my children. You wasn't coming back to see a bunch of cars and a big house because you had other shows. Let me finish, Just.
Okay, go ahead.
There was other shows that had that stuff and that failed immediately. I don't want to mention any of the names, but it was like, okay, bring the cameras to my house. We have a big house and it's full of stuff. Failed.
This is not being Bobby Brandt.
I won't say that. Whatever it was, or any other shows, any of the other reality shows, my show had a purpose to show health, happiness, love, respect in the home.
One of the things in the book that I read that caught my ear, and Rev, was you talked about your experiences with Run-DMC and how that when that came to an end, you sort of hit the bottom emotionally and otherwise, and that sort of precipitated your going into the ministry. Is your life now opposite of what it was
No,
when you
not
were
at all.
doing
I'm on
music?
tour with Kid Rock. It's not the opposite at all. I'm signing books during the day and I'm rapping at night. How that came back about, I don't know. But God came, like He showed me, I've made you a rapper also. You don't get so caught up in the ministry that you don't rap. People enjoyed that. So for me, when I got to a place where things were changing for me, you change with where you go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated.
What I meant was, are you the opposite of how you were in terms of your behavior?
No. There was no.
Yeah.
No, I won't say that because
Well, you
behavior
don't smoke
mean.
and drink.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What he
Okay.
mean when you say.
Opposite. That's what he
But
means.
I'll answer it.
I was
please.
helping him.
You know, let me
go
handle it.
ahead. All right.
Behavior meaning, if it comes to do I smoke weed still? No, but that's not what I'm talking about. Behavior as far as when I left rap, I didn't leave rap because I was doing drugs or something. I never was deep into heroin or cocaine or drunk and falling out. I changed as I became a minister, but as far as becoming, leaving music, some people will say rap music is, if you go too deep into the wrong type of church, that's from the devil. You can go far into it. Everybody in the church world wouldn't agree with me being on road with Kid Rock, but I know that that's where I'm supposed to be. So behavior, yeah, I go straight from the show onto the bus and I go to the next city. I might not hang out and party as much, but I'm still Run. When you see me out on stage, you'll say, that's not the same guy that was just preaching. He's screaming all these crazy lyrics and doing my Adidas. It doesn't look like the same guy that's going to be sitting here talking to you about family principles.
You have a very famous brother who is divorced from his wife.
Right.
Have you talked to him about some of these things to apply to his relationship with Kamara?
Totally. I don't mind talking about that at all. I find that people who are going through divorce or whatever, I've been through a change. You said you've been through a change.
Yes, I have.
I don't really judge people based on what they're going through. I ask them the question. I will mentor Russell. I'll mentor Puffy. People come to me all the time, how do you hold it together? I don't even see how you can have a marriage. People go through a lot of hell with trying to have a relationship. What I ask them is, what do you want? Instead of saying, this is what you have to do. You need to be married. You need to have kids. And I show them the picture. I said, do you want to be, especially with entertainers, is your picture a picture on the cover of Ebony magazine by yourself standing there, Russell? Or is it you, Kamora, and the kids? How hard will you fight for the picture that you want? And a lot of times people their ego or their career will be more prioritized than their family.
Having been married myself, as I've told you a couple of times, I know that there are people who are married who will be listening to this or who are in relationships or have been in relationships who will say, well, that's great for Reverend Run and for Justine. You know, they can do that, but, you know, life is hard for us. And, you know, it's just not all easy and all fun and like they're describing. So good for them, but that ain't going to happen
We
for
showed
me.
on the TV. We lost our baby on television. We go through hell. We showed the happy side, and we brought the cameras in the house when she lost a baby after 8 months. We went into the hospital. We don't just show a happy life. Everything that goes on in our house is game. We've showed it all on MTV. And I'll argue with her, but I realize at that moment, or she'll realize at that moment, okay, she's not agreeing with me.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, finish.
Like,
one of us are going to have to back down.
No, you keep saying that, babe. I want to
I was
say
still
something.
making my point
Okay. Anyway, we will argue, but it's like, it's an argument that you know that's getting ready to end. Like, not an argument. Don't look at me like that.
Finish because you cut me off. Go ahead.
Oh, my God, because you've been talking every minute. I want to say something.
Finish your point.
What we're saying is, like, we'll argue, but it'll be, we know this is not, you know, you're not going to go to bed like this, you know, whereas.
But the Bible says don't do that.
But, you know, but as younger, I didn't always feel that way. You know, if I was mad, I was mad. You know what I mean?
I'm older, and I don't always feel that way now.
Exactly.
I like the question that you're asking. It's very important, and then I'm going to speak this directly to you. The thing that stops relationships from happening, the Bible talks about is two becoming one. And in order to become one, you have to have the same ideas. In order to have the same ideas, you're going to have to give in a lot. For me, and she always trying to correct me sometime, but for me, I want my marriage very badly. So happy wife, happy life. So if I'm right or wrong or whatever, I'm willing to just shut up and go into the other room and read the newspaper because I don't want to be right more than I want my marriage. So ego says, I want to be right. So I'm going to tell you what you did today with the kids, with this is wrong. That doesn't work for a marriage. One of you have to back down. I've made it, and she backs down, but I'm saying I've made it my decision to back down. It doesn't feel good at all.
I'm looking at her right now. She doesn't look like she's backing down.
I'm saying that's the thing I say every day.
Okay, no, I just don't want it to make
it
seem like.
I said you back down or I back down, but I'm talking about, I'm speaking for myself, honey.
Okay. I just don't want to make it seem like you back down more.
I'm speaking for myself. I can't speak for you. I'm talking about since I want my marriage.
I'm just checking.
See, this is a real marriage.
Yes, it is.
You know, people, you know, this is what marriage is. But let me ask this, and another subject that is a little painful and touchy, I'm sure, and that's, you mentioned the loss of your child, and I know that we're on the anniversary of that. Did that event in your life change your outlook about family and your relationship with children and with each other?
Well, for me, and I'll let her speak, for me, it was like, again, my thing always goes back to the Bible. I prayed, I hoped it wouldn't happen. I knew it was coming at me. The doctor said it wasn't looking good inside of her stomach or whatever. My thing is, first of all, I'm so close to God, I don't blame God. That's the number one thing. Second of all, I realize I can't keep looking over there. I wouldn't call it an anniversary because if I keep looking over there, I'm going to get sad. Right now I could think about the death of my grandmother and start crying. So I use my mind very strong to make sure that, okay, let's mourn. Okay, we're done. Okay, let's get the bills paid. Let's get the house running. Russie, put your skates back on. Let's go have fun. Let's comfort Mommy. I'm sure she's going through a lot. Let's tell, and I kept preaching. I said it on Oprah too. Okay, we can't keep looking over there. That's painful. Yeah. And I'm not going to blame it on God. I don't understand why people are dying in Africa. Some people get mad at God just as an excuse. Mm-hmm. Look at all that's going on in this world. There can't be a God. Listen, that's none of your business. Why did this happen to you, Reverend Run? You tithe? You go to church? I can't worry about that right now. I want to go forward, be thankful for the things that are good. That was a painful experience. We'd have fell apart if I didn't pull my family together and say, I didn't even turn the cameras off in the hospital, and I didn't even turn them off the next day. They begged me. You need time. I said, I don't need no time. I need those cameras here. I need happiness. I need the people moving around my house because we're just going to sit in here in the dark and keep crying.
Yes.
Reverend Run, Justine, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.